Welcome to Chapter Sass, the podcast where we deep dive into the books that make you blush, gasp, and maybe even think a little. I'm your host, Season, and with every book, I'll be joined with a new co-host with their own hot take. From spicy romances to messy love triangles and all the glorious chaos in between, we're here with a fresh perspective to unpack the stories we love, question what we think we know, and explore how the book speaks to us. Things might even get a little sassy. This episode is rated mature and will contain spoilers. Let's get into the first chapter. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to cover all the books of Agatar before October 27th, the book 6 release date. Today, we're going to cover the rest of part 2. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This isn't part 2. I took that back. We start part 3 of A Court of Mist and Furies by Sarah J. Maas. We'll do a high-level overview of the designated chapters of each episode. And during these chapters, we'll talk about things we liked, didn't like, or any evidence to support our theories. Of course, every episode will end with a sassy topic. This episode will contain spoilers and have mature content. And I'm going to say that one more time. Will contain spoilers and have mature content because we're going to talk about chapter 55. And I just know I'm going to say something. Oh my God, I can already see it in my head, everyone. Like, Derek and Jody are going to be like, what the F? Andrea's going to have some facial expression. And I can't wait.
I'm here for that. I'm here for the
Andrea's face
vibes.
is gonna be like,
let's just, yes. So this is not an episode for children. So just so you know, you've been warned. So let's meet my co-host. We'll start with Andrea. Andrea, how are you? How was your weekend?
Hi, it was good. I traveled. I'm tired. I'm very tired. I'm so tired. Can you tell?
Yeah, you
I'm
met the
tired.
author.
I didn't. So, my mom, she had surgery. I think I told you guys about that. But then I was driving because it's 4 hours from Quincy to Downers Grove, where my mom lives. And I was driving and I got about an hour away and she sends a text message to me and my sister, like, I'm on the way to urgent care. And I had the kids with me in the car and she was going to watch the kids. And so I was like, well, I'm not leaving my mom alone with the kids. Let's go hunker down. But I was able to go back the next day and get the book, but I just didn't get to meet them, which is fine because I'm going to go stalk them and find them somewhere else.
Love that. Well, I hope your mom is doing better. Sounds like she is. But
she's totally fine. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Derek, how are you? How was your weekend? What'd you do for Daddy's Day?
Weekend was great. Hung out with my kids, went and got breakfast, and then found some new coffee shops in the area.
Correct question. Did you pay for breakfast?
Of course, I paid for breakfast. It's Daddy's Day.
That sounds like every mother and father ever until your kids reach like 30. So sounds about right.
And even then, I'm probably still going to be paying for breakfast, right, Jody?
That's right, Daddy.
Saturday was great. Went downtown with Jody, hung out with her family for a little party. Got some sun, got some color, became more Latino, and yeah, it was a good time.
Love it. Jody, how are you? How was your weekend?
Yeah, it was good. Saturday we did Sophie's graduation party, and then the next day I saw that Keith posted him walking down Loyola Beach. So he posted a video of all the paintings that you and I walked. Remember, Derek?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That we did not get a single photo of because we did not bring our phone.
We both forgot our phones, but Keith got it for us. So yay,
Thanks,
Keith.
He's a real one.
Yeah,
he is. I can attest to this. Yes. I had the busiest weekend ever. Everyone listening,
a busy weekend?
No, but this one was like extremely busy. For everyone listening, I have to just shout out to my co-host because they allowed me to start 30 minutes later than we normally start recording because I was still writing notes, y'all. So you guys are gonna get like real season this episode. And not that I'm not real normally, but like typing shit up literally up until the last second. But,
unfiltered.
Yeah. Like didn't even get to reread the notes. So guys, like whatever is there is what's being said. So it's gonna be a great show, everyone. It's gonna be a great show.
Director's cut.
But Friday was Juneteenth. So well, first off, this weekend also the Obama, I live in Chicago, so like the Obama Center like opened up, and so there were all these celebrities in town, including Dave Chappelle and like a whole bunch of other like Chicago, well, like Chicago people. So Dave Chappelle had a like pop-up show that I'm actually pretty sure it's going to be on Netflix. So anyways, in the morning of Juneteenth, Keith had an event. Keith has this community platform that he has. And so he had an event on there. It was his first event. And we went to the Weather Southern Kitchen and we got amazing food. Then right after that, I pretty much had to come home, change to nighttime clothes because I was like in daytime clothes. And we saw Dave Chappelle. He was hilarious. Pretty sure it's going to be airing on Netflix because all the Netflix stuff was out. So if you see me in the audience, I was there. Saturday, I was supposed to go to Sophie's graduation party, but I did the GPS like to the party, and I have this annual like tradition with my friends where we pick a date like months in advance so that everyone is free, and it was going to be a 55-minute drive without traffic.
Yikes.
And the game and this like day can't start unless Keith is there and then me. Like they cannot start. And so we weren't even gonna make it until about 2:30 at this point. And they were like, that's half the day. So we had to figure out. So I'm gonna take Sophie out. We're gonna have a great time. I'll take her out to lunch. Y'all can break in the sofa. We'll have a fun activity. Don't you worry, I'm gonna make it up to her. But essentially from 11 a.m. to about midnight, I was at our friend's house doing our annual like activity. It was great. Then woke up the next morning, edited this podcast, and Keith and I just had a day. Like, we had like date night because we don't always do that type of stuff. So got a massage, did my nails, manicure, pedicure, took a gummy, and had a great day. But that was mine.
Hell yeah.
So very busy. So very, very busy day. Okay, and so what is everybody drinking? What is that? Oh, it's a special cup. Oh my God, I thought it was something else. I see. Are you drinking a Paloma out of that?
El
No,
Diablito.
it is just tequila and water.
Oh, so we moved away from orange juice.
I didn't have any orange juice.
Oh, okay, fair.
I'm
Fair.
going back ultra low fat, low carb for a little bit, so staying away from sugar.
That
So
is
tequila.
I respect that. I respect that. Here we respect people's health journeys. I naturally eat and drink more in the summer and we're there, so
It's
just
nice,
who I
nice,
am.
nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jody, are you drinking anything?
I just have some water, and in lieu of alcohol, I have Oreos.
I love it.
Boo.
I love in lieu of it. I love it. Andrea, what are you drinking? Some protein shake? Some
No, I did mean to grab
Oh.
one, but I'm not getting back up. It's just I'm so tired. I have this. Have you guys ever had a medicine ball from Starbucks?
Yes, honey citrus
This
mint
is
tea
the,
lemonade.
but I do mine with peach juice and like extra
Mm.
something else. Hold on. Oh my
I'm gonna have
gosh.
to try that.
I get an extra tea bag and then 2 extra pumps of the honey syrup, and then I do peach juice instead. Okay, so that, and then I have my water. And then I was just inspired, instead of alcohol, I have this giant bag of mix Lifesaver.
Give some
Handy.
over here.
Nice.
Loving our
Where is
substitutions,
she?
guys. These are fantastic substitutions. I also have water
I
because I
eat
always
these
have
when I'm
water.
like super anxious. Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
yeah. But I eat Lifesaver gummies when I'm anxious. They just like, it's like a tick. It's probably bad, huh?
Derek is the only one drinking on a
No, I'm
weekday
drinking.
evening. Okay.
This looks like a lot.
I thought you
It
said you had
probably
water.
looks like a green smoothie. It's not. So what happened was, as you all know, I was running out of time. And last week I had said, I'm going to have a spicy margarita. And I didn't have time. So what I did was I just threw everything into a blender and blended it. And I just put a whole ass jalapeno in there. My mouth is a little
Oh
bit
my
on fire.
God. Oh my God,
My
Susan.
mouth is a little bit on fire. But there's tequila in here. I don't like to use
Jesus
for like the
Christ.
orangeness. I just throw a little bit of actual orange in versus like the syrup
Mhm.
that because that's just I'd rather have natural sugar than that. But this is my spicy margarita for chapter 55, and it is spicy. But the thing about me is I love spice. Like it is truly my favorite thing. If my mouth isn't on fire, then it's not spicy enough. So cheers, everyone. No, I'll be fine. When you make a margarita, you add. It's like I forget what it's called. It's an orange, but it's like a syrup.
Like bitter?
So instead of doing the syrup, wabbit? Yeah,
good.
but like
Yes,
if you
I
were to walk
understand.
into like a bar, they would put I forgot what it's called. I literally because my brain is fried because of everything I was rushing. And so you can always
There's
sub
somebody
it with
listening
the
right now
real
that is
orange.
screaming the name Edis.
Yeah, it's like screaming their name in the back of my. I'm sure all the viewers are gonna be like, "It's this," but they put like an orange like syrup
It's
thing
not
in it, and so
bitters?
no, it's not bitters. It's Google it. I promise you,
No,
you
it's
guys all
like
know the word.
It's
yes,
not curacao, is it?
No,
it's something like that, but it's not curacao.
it is. It's something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and so you can always sub a
Okay.
real orange.
Yeah, I thought you just
For I
put
mean, I
like
didn't put the whole
a
orange.
whole jalapeno, a whole orange, and then you just
No, it was like a quarter
tequila.
of it. Yeah, it
Okay,
was just
fair,
like a
fair, fair. I was
quarter
like,
of
that's
it.
so
Yeah, yeah,
much on
yeah.
your
No, that's not
tummy.
how it is with some tequila. And Derek, you are
We'll
now
keep an eye
sideways. I don't
on
know if
you.
I can fix that in the post recording of
Yeah,
this.
Derek,
Just so
why are
you
you
know.
sideways now?
And I think and now he's
And
and
he's
now is he
frozen.
faking that he's really frozen?
Cointreau.
Faking that he froze.
It's yeah, I was faking it. Yeah, no, it's Cointreau. Cointreau.
So yeah, but that's what they make with normal margaritas.
Yes,
So
Cointreau.
really quickly. Oh, and really quickly, I think I have to start saying this. So like, I actually got like 8 people viewed last episode on YouTube. So yay! But again, there's like no one who ever listens like on YouTube. But I think I have to start doing this spiel. I told myself I would never do this spiel of like follow and like and rate the podcast. But I think
Smash that
we're
like
getting
button.
a small little following where it's like, oh, okay, guys, if you're here, do the like button. Give us a little review. Make sure to subscribe to
bro.
the podcast. All the nice things. So you can just be up and informed anytime we have a new episode. Okay. So now let's dive into the next chapter. A really quick recap of where we are. Feyre has escaped her controlling ex-fiance at the Spring Court and joins the Court of Dreams, aka the Night Court, which consists of a group of friends who have lots of trauma, but they are working through it. While at the Night Court, she does have to pull her weight, so she visits the Bone Carver, who does tell her war is coming. Feyre does have to steal a ring from the Reaver and almost dies for the first time. Then Feyre has to visit her sisters in the human land and ask for the 6 mortal queens to help to get their part of the Book of Breedings. Only 5 of the queens actually end up showing up because one queen is sick and can't come out to play. The queens are pretty much like, nope, we're not going to help unless Rhys can prove that he actually cares. Then at the summer, then they go to the summer court and they steal that half of the Book of Breedings. Wow, you should be taking shots of water though, if I'm saying Book of Breathings though, Andrea, in lieu of the tequila. And while stealing the book, Feyre almost dies for the second time. And during her trip to the Court of Nightmares and during Starfall, Feyre realizes she is catching feelings for Mr. Rhys and Rhys is being tracked by his magic. So Feyre, Mor, Cassian, and Rhys head to the Lyrian camps. And while there, Rhys and Feyre practice her magic. Then all of a sudden, Lucien shows up, tries to take Feyre back to the Spring Court. Feyre tells Lucien her loyalty lies with the Night Court. Then at night, Feyre and Rhys get a little freaky with it. Later on, Rhys is brought down by Hybern's men, and Feyre rescues him. However, he is still dying because there's poison in him. So she traps the Suriel, who gives information on the cure that she needs. Turns out it's her blood. And she finds out that Rhys is her mate, pissed off that Rhys did not tell her. They whittle back to camp. She tells Mor, take her somewhere where Rhys cannot find her. Mor takes her to the family cabin. Dun. End of that. And now we enter part 3. House of Mist.
Which is
so while at the
such a
cabin,
crazy, I love that it's called that.
Love it too.
That's it. That's all I had to say.
While at the cabin.
Love it.
So while at the cabin, Freya uses this time to come to terms with what she's just learned. And she thinks, and I quote from the book, because he had been injured, I had gone out of my mind, absolutely insane, when he had been taken from me, shot out of the sky like a bird, and I acted on instinct, on a drive to protect him. That had come from deep in me, so deep in me. Derek, do you have anything? So deep?
Yes. It was
but pretty
so
much
deep inside her.
Pretty much Feyre, though, is just realizing that this is like the mate bond that she's feeling. Like, again, she's decompressing all this. It's been a few days of everything going on. So Feyre is realizing that she's had feelings for Rhys for a while. And then she went ahead and left Rhys in the mud. And she just left. And she literally told him the day before, like, she would never do that to him. And then that's exactly what she went and did. So while she's roaming this cabin, Feyre finds some paint and finally decides to pick up the paintbrush because she can. And she paints every surface of the cabin. And let me just tell you, I like, there's no way someone is painting every surface of the cabin. Like the table, the chairs, the wall. There's just like no way that it's all going to look good. So I'm very intrigued to see how this looks. Like if they make
Jolly
like
bit this
a,
reference, but it's giving the diagram.
what do you mean
Yeah,
the
this is
diagram?
That's another niche book
Oh,
series that we
okay.
were reading.
Went over my head. But after 3 days, Moore comes back to check on her. And Feyre's doing pretty well. And she's painted Amren's eyes on the threshold of the bedroom. And Moore's like, paint my eyes.
and
Moore,
also it's not your damn cabin, and you just went up in somebody else's cabin and just painted their whole fucking cabin.
The caucasity of this girl, you
Oh
know?
my god, I'm serious.
This is some entitlement right here. This isn't graffiti, this is art.
Yeah.
Resand.
Boy.
I'm not disagreeing. Like I said, I'm just thinking like, I mean, she's an adult. She's like, what, 2021 at this point? But I could only imagine if a
Emotionally
child
stunted
did
adult,
that.
yes.
My ass would have got beat, like if I painted the whole house. So anyways,
Resand did not have any clothes hangers in the cabin.
he had
No
no
chanclas, no
chancletas.
chanclas to be
No
found.
chanclas, exactly. None. So Moore spends the night and asks Feyre, and I'm quoting, "Is it so bad to be his mate, to be part of our court, our family, tangled history and all?" And like Feyre thinks to herself, no, it wouldn't be that bad. And again, it's just like, also it's just like really sweet, I think, because it's like not only like this decision doesn't like impact just Reese, but it like impacts all of them. I think this was like a nice way of being like, but like we want you to be part of our family, something she's never had, even with her own family. But anyways, after Moore leaves, Feyre starts to paint a future in her head of like, she sees the townhouse. She sees herself being a permanent member of the Court of Dreams. She can like picture a future with Reese. And it's something she's been struggling with all her PTSD. And so our girl is finally moving past her trauma. After 5 days, I would never last 5 days alone in a cabin. But after 5 days, Feyre is getting a little antsy and she like hears a knock on her door, thinking it's Moore. She opens the door and Resand is there. Dun-dun-dun-dun. And then she just thinks to herself, my mate. Reese asks if he can come in, and Feyre's like, of course he can come in. Also, it's his house, so like, yeah, he could come in. Reese notices that it's not only Amren's eyes that are like painted, but she painted everyone else except his. And then he's like, what about my eyes? And Feyre says, and I quote, I was afraid to paint them. And so Feyre responds with, and I quote, I was afraid to paint them. At first because I was so mad at you for not telling me. Then because I was worried I'll like them too much and find that you didn't feel the same. Then because I was scared if I painted them, I'll start wishing you were here so much and I'll just stare at them all day. And it seemed like a pathetic way to spend my time. And so Reese does confirm that Moore never told him where she was. However, there are only so many like close, secure locations that she could have possibly have taken Feyre to. So he walked because he couldn't or he flew, but he couldn't whittle because he's being tracked. So he pretty much just flew and walked to all the places to find her. Feyre asks if she can heat up some soup for him, and she's like, I don't know the rules, so you're gonna have to explain it to me. And apparently, it's very important when a female offers her mate food, and so this soup matters. But I will quote, she's like, I'm not cooking this, I'm heating this. I don't cook, and it's like, yes, girl, not all of us can cook. Sometimes we just heat shit up. So Reese explains his story, and he starts at the beginning. Dinner. Yes. Reese explains.
Dinner.
Hey, dinner.
Reese explains that he was taken hostage by war by Amarantha, and he was tortured and this is like the first war, it's like 500 years ago. And he was tortured for weeks, and he had those chains on him, so he already knew what those chains could do, and he had no powers to use while he was being tortured. During this time, Jurian had killed Amarantha's sister, and so Amarantha's main focus was to get Jurian. Reese did get enough strength that he was going to try to kill Amarantha right then and there it was like the same night that his father came to rescue him. And so Amarantha, like in a hurry, just killed Jurian and like left. However, Rhys was then ordered to go home while the final battle took place. So he was not part of the final battle. He was not part of the treaty that was created, but the treaty was then created shortly after. And Rhys was pissed because Hybrid and Amarantha essentially got off scot-free. And Rhys promised that he would never forget and he would like get his revenge upon Amarantha. Fast forward to about 50 years ago, 49 years ago, when Amarantha like took over. Rhys was very suspicious of her and the rest of the High Lords weren't. However, Rhys' suspicion, he knew that we couldn't trust her when Tamlin was like, no, I'm also sus of you. And they were friends. So Rhys is like, oh, if your friend doesn't trust you, then I definitely don't trust you. And so he decided he was going to kill her, not tell anyone from the Court of Dreams that what he was going to do. And so he attended the party under the mountain. And Amarantha had been trained up until this point to like hold her mental shields. And so while Rhys was working on getting through to her shields, he ended up drinking the wine, not realizing that Amarantha had spiked it with something that would like drain his powers. And so when Rhys finally realized that he's losing his powers, he uses the last bit of his magic that he has that she can't control to protect Valaris and put up some wards. And he ended up binding all his friends to the ward so that they essentially had to stay away, or if they came to come find him, they risked the protection collapsing. Then the curse was put on Tamlin. And as the saying goes, the enemy is my friend. And so now the only loophole that Rhys has would be if Tamlin broke the curse. So Rhys decided that while he was here, he's just going to play the whore role well. And he gained somewhat of Amarantha's trust. But after so many years, he figured they said after like 10 or 12 years, he was like, I'm going to be stuck here forever. Like, this is my life. And, you know, he was just trying to make the best of the situation. Then 3 years ago, Rhys started to have dreams, and I'm quoting for the book. I began to have these dreams. At first, they were glimpses as if I was staring through someone else's eye, a crackling hearth in the dark of homes, a bale of hay in the barn. Also, that's where she was fucking Isaac, but nice to know that's the view that you were getting.
Mhm.
A warren of rabbits. The image were foggy, like looking through cloudy glass. Then they were brief and like a flashes here or there every few months. I thought nothing of them until one of the images was of a hand, this beautiful human hand holding a brush, painting flowers on a table. And at the time, I pushed back a thought, the night sky of the image that had brought me joy when I needed it most. The open night sky, stars and the moon. And that's what Feyre painted on her drawer. So nice little full circle. Then a year ago, Rhys got the dream that was much clearer. He saw this person. He was seeing this person's dreams. And he saw the dream from book 1 where Feyre sees a redheaded woman slicing her throat and a shadow like lingering in the background. So again, I love that we're bringing little things from book 1 to now. Now the dreams were clearer, and this meant that this person was in Prythian, so like they have now crossed the wall. And so Rhys was trying to use the dreams to try to track the person, but he just couldn't. He didn't know like where this person was. And then finally he got a vision of Calumet. So Rhys lied to Amarantha and told her he was going to spy on Tamlin to make sure he wasn't close to breaking the curse because the deadline was approaching. And that's when Rhys finally finds Freya and with the 3 creepy Fae men. However, we get the line, there you are. I've been looking for you. Did your nipples get hard there?
Been looking for you. Yes. Every time.
And so
All
Rhys
4 of
didn't.
them.
Oh, all 3 of them? Did you just say?
Said all 4. What the fuck?
Oh, all 4.
Johnny,
oh
I
my
know
God.
you were over there doing
I'm
the
gonna
same.
need an explanation, Johnny.
So am I.
Okay.
Continue.
Rhys did not know Feyre was with Tamlin. So when Amarantha sent Rhys back to the Spring Court, the day where he sensed her at the dining room table, when they had glamored her, he was terrified to catch her there. And he realized that like he needed to put on a show and that he needed to terrify Tamlin to the point that he would send Feyre home. And that's exactly what Rhys did. He played his role and he played it well. Rhys also knew because he like grabbed Feyre's mind that she gave him a fake name, Claire. he did not know that Claire was a real person. He genuinely thought she just gave him a fake name. So when he gave that name to Amarantha, he didn't know that then Amarantha was going to go try to find this person in the human land, and that is how Claire got collected. But it is good to know that Claire felt nothing. Rhys broke into her mind right away, took away her pain, and pretty much told her to scream whatever you're supposed to scream, but like took away her pain. And then once she had been tortured enough, he like just broke her mind and killed her that way. So also very sad, but very happy Claire didn't suffer anything. And then when Feyre was dragged into the throne room by the adder, Rhys said that he was just like, he thought to himself in his head that he was going to fight back. He didn't know how he was going to fight back, but he was just going to fight back. And so that is why he helped after the worm trial. And that's when he made the bargain with Feyre. He made sure that she drank the wine when he called her out of like the cell so that she would not remember the night. And when the final trial came and Amarantha started to torture Feyre, Rhys is the one who like picked up his knife and he tried to kill her, but was like, stop. And that's when he knew that like he was her mate, that they were mates. But then when Amarantha snapped Feyre's neck, Rhys held on to that bond and he held on to it so strong. And that this is why Feyre was able to like see through Rhys's eyes, see what was going on. And then Rhys went into all the heads of the High Lords and essentially made them save her. I forgot this part, but now that makes sense as to why. Is his name Byron? Autumn Court, the High Lord of Autumn Court. Wow, he saved this. That would have been so out of his character. And he was the first person to like step forward. So I forgot like Rhys had done this. And I was like, oh, that's why Autumn Court was the first to like step forward, because he made them. And so Rhys also explains that he tried to stay there as long as he could. Wow, but this is when he realized that like Feyre was with Tamlin. So Tamlin was like hugging you. He was like, what was I supposed to do? And so while after everything settled, he like tugged on that bond to call her when they were like on the balcony. And then again, at this point, Feyre is now a Fae. She's Fae now. And when Rhys looks at her, that's when he like is taken aback, because he said that's when the bond permanently locked in place. And he gasped because he didn't know what to do and fled. Rhys like tried to convince himself that Feyre was better off without him, that she didn't need him. She was in love with Tamlin. But however, Feyre kept sending images down the bond of her like puking, her struggling, all this stuff that she was going through. And Rhys was never going to originally collect on the bargain. And on Feyre and Tamlin's wedding day, he was going to get like blackout drunk with Cassian. But then Feyre started yelling through the bond for help. And so Rhys dropped everything to go and get her. And he was like, every time I had to send you back to the spring court, it like broke me, but I knew I had to. I knew I couldn't like just go in and take you. And it wasn't until after Tamlin like locked her away and he got Feyre back, Rhys tells her like, I couldn't tell you after you just experienced all that. Like, I could not tell you that you left this terrible situation of a man and like now I'm your mate. And so then Feyre's like, oh, you love me? And Rhys is like, yes, I do. And he's like, broken. He's like broken and he's like almost crying. And so she puts the bowl of soup in front of him. Rhys devours the soup. Feyre sits on his lap and says, and I quote, and I want you to know, Rhys-Anne, that I love you. And I want you to know that I am broken and I am healing, but every piece of my heart belongs to you. And I am honored to be your mate. Aww. I love you and I'll endure every second of it all over again so I could find you. And if war comes, we'll face it together. I won't let them take me from you, and I won't let them take you from me either. Oh, also foreshadowing. Now they're both crying, hugging each other because it's such an emotional situation that they're going in. She's still very important. She's still on his lap. And then Feyre says, you're mine. And I'm going to take a sip of my spiced little drink because now shit gets spicy. Mm-hmm.
Now you gotta lick the rim.
Yes. Oh, right here. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
They start kissing, and Rhys rips Feyre's shirt off. Spills paint everywhere. Paint is so important for all this. They're on top of the table. Throws her on top of the table. Next comes off the pants. And Rhys falls onto his knees. And remember, he would never bow before someone who was not his equal or his mate. And now that Feyre's pants are off, Rhys has her splayed out on a table like his own personal feast, which is what he wanted like 4 chapters ago. And then he eats her out. And then at some point, some fingers
just like
are
that,
added in there
straight
to spice some
horniness.
shit up. And
Yep.
and Rhys says,
Yep.
"You're mine." And then Rhys carries Feyre to the bedroom. He undresses very slowly, and Feyre is shocked to see the length of his magic glory. He comes to bed with Feyre with his wings, and he's never been to bed with anyone else with his wings, but he would do it for his mate. And then when he's on top of her, he starts to sink in, and they quote unquote make love to each other. And they keep saying, "I love you, you're mine. I love you, you're mine." He's thrusting in and out, mine, 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 mine. Then they're done. Feyre feels the mate bond shine between them, and it shines bright like a diamond. And now they have paid.
Wait. Not the mine from Finding Nemo. That's all I just.
Mine.
Pew!
I can't.
Zoop. Oh my god.
You're welcome,
So
guys.
crazy. What's so crazy is
You're
it's so
welcome.
accurate because that's how the book was.
Mhm.
Oh gosh.
You're
okay,
welcome,
keep
everyone.
going.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Look at my mind. This is my brain. This is my brain rushed. So imagine if it wasn't rushed
Oh my
this
God.
morning. Okay. Now they got paint all over themselves. So naturally, they have to go take a bath. But they do talk some more. They start to let each other in more. Feyre says, and I quote, "I think I was falling in love with you for a while. I knew at Starfall, or I came close to knowing, but was scared and didn't want to look closer into it. I was a coward." And Rhys is like, "Well, you had a perfectly good reason to avoid it." And Feyre says, "No, I didn't. Maybe thanks to Tamlin, yes, but it had nothing to do with you, Rhys. Nothing to do with you. I was never afraid of the consequences of being with you. Even if every assassin in the world hunts us down, it's worth it. You're worth it." He's like now in the tub, head down, wings everywhere. He's just like, "Oh my God, she gets me." And now they have a few options. He explains to her they can go to a high priestess. They can confirm that they're mates, aka a wedding. They could say nothing. They could throw a big party. It's all up to Feyre. She has choices.
She wants a
So
permission.
So finally, Rhys then says, "Oh, by the way, the Queens wrote back. They'll be there at your sister's house in 3 days. So we need to head back to like the human lands tomorrow morning." And Feyre's like, "Now you're telling me this?" And Rhys is like, "Oh, I was sidetracked it," but smiles. And Feyre now can like see a future again. She could see a life with him. And like, it also just goes to like outside, like being serious right now. Like, I think this just goes to like the real world of like when you take the time to heal and like figure out what you need in life and like accept, what's going on. So much good can come from that. And so now she's doing exactly what Rhys said before. Like you're always going to have the PTSD, but you can learn to have your life and you can learn to live it. And I think now she's finally living it. But now, back to sexy time. Feyre is now like glowing from the powers of the decor. So she's just like a little glowing yellow ball of everything. And Rhys removes his glamour and he fills the room with glittery black power. And Feyre pushes him down on the bed and says, "My turn." And she takes him in her mouth, but not for long because Rhys says, "Fuck this," grabs her, flips her over, sinks in, doggy sound. He
Man,
is letting the dogs
you
out,
know
y'all.
what I mean?
Then Feyre.
You got that dog.
Yeah. He said, "Flip it and reverse it."
Throw
Yeah!
it down.
Yes! And so then he pulls out of like Feyre a little bit, but then he like pulls her up. He goes
41%.
41% out.
41%, only 41%. But now he's like on his knees, like on the bed. She's still in front of him. She's still in him. And one hand is visiting Tittyville. The other hand is stroking her meow while he is still going in. And she is on the edge. She's on the verge, everyone. She can't take it anymore. And so he lays her down, flips her over. So now she's riding him. And she said, "I'm going to save a horse and ride this cowboy." And Feyre is still glowing and she's glowing and they both climb out.
Aww.
How'd you
Yeah.
like my chapter 55, guys?
It was better than chapter 55.
Yeah, actually. Just was more fun.
Bruh, yes, I knew this was gonna live up to every single one of my expectations because you guys, I think on the initial read, we were also glamored by 55 being the first official sex chapter. That
Right?
on a reread, I'm like, huh.
That's it, y'all? You done?
Yeah, I liked her sitting on the throne with him better.
Yes.
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 That was really
Where were those descriptions? We didn't even get anything like R-rated for
Yeah.
real, and this was the R-rated. It felt very
Mm.
Right?
And he
Silver
looked at
Flame,
her,
so much
and she
better.
looked at him, and he looked at her,
yeah.
and she looked at him.
It felt
That's all it
very
was.
like censored.
Oh, well, I hope I didn't censor too much. I mean, I did say
Absolutely
meow.
No,
not.
So
yours is much more
You
fun.
were doing great. Yeah,
thanks,
like your
guys.
version
Again, I'm
is
loving my
ideal.
participation trophies. Amazing.
Oh my god.
Okay, so now it's the next day, and Feyre, let me tell you, Feyre is not sore at all. She's like, I'm gonna walk out here like a G, because I think I might have been sore after that. But she's like,
She got that
I'm fine.
Faye healing. You know what I mean? She got that Faye
This-
good.
She got
It
that
is that
Fava JJ.
Faye J.
Hey Jay.
The Faye J. I love it. That has to go on our shirt.
We'll put it right in the front here with a little
Yes.
arrow pointing out.
A little like finger painted arrow down, just like Reese.
Yes.
Just in case
Oh,
you forgot where this was going, sweetheart. What
Oh,
fucking
man.
cheesy ass line was that?
Oh, love it, guys. Oh my God, I love this. Okay. And so Reese explains to her that this is normal, that this is just a frenzy of them accepting the mate bond. And Reese explains that like he'll be on edge for a while as he adjusts to the bond. So for her to give him time and to like know that like this, like there might be a few times where he like might snap if like a guy looks at her wrong or whatever. And then they have the baby talk. So they're like super horny and then like, let's kill all that and let's talk babies. And Reese says the decision is up to you, Feyre, but he is happy to have a baby or he's happy if it's just the two of them. And Feyre decides that she wants to live with her mate for a while. She wants to like live life, just the two of them. So she would continue to take the tea, but she would one day love to have his baby. And that's the real end of chapter 55. Dun, 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 dun. Chapter 56. Because now they're done fucking just for
Meow.
2 seconds. Meow. Yes. Now they're done. Chapter 55 is done. Now we're at chapter 56. So Reese like whittles them back to camp, and Cassian knows that like Reese is on edge. And what is the best way to solve this, ladies and gentlemen? Let's talk about that. It's decided that the two men are going to fight, literally beat the shit out of each other, because there's like no other way. There's no other way to do this. But anyways, they do that. But this is just like a great little bit of info for Silver Flame. So like as reading this, because there's like in Cassian and Nessa's book, spoiler for anyone who's listening, but like when Cassian and Nessa do it and like she never says they're mates, but like when they do it and she says you're mine and he's like you're mine, I guess that was like the bond like fixing itself. Then he like wakes up, is like, I have to go play snowballs with my bros, let me just go do that. But then he's like missing for like 5 days, but he was like missing for the 5 days because he was like on edge and he couldn't like be with her. So it's just like a little bit of information for Silver Flames for us to look forward to. They're walking to the House of Wind, and all the inner circle, the Court of Dreams, stand up and they bow and they promise to service and protect the Chicago Police Department. Dun, 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 dun. Anyways, Feyre, Darren, what are you doing over there?
That was terrible. That was terrible.
Well, the Chicago Police Department is supposed to serve and protect. Now, do they? That's a different question, but that's the motto.
Shots fired. Literally.
So I'm just saying that's the motto. Okay. So Feyre realizes that like she is now part of this family and she has been part of this family for a while. So now it's time to visit her blood family and wait for the human queens. Well, only the eldest queen and the youngest queen show up. The eldest queen says it's because Nessa insulted them last time that the other three were just so insulted that they couldn't come. And Feyre responds with, and I quote, if that is the worst insult any of you have ever received on your lives, I'll say that you're quite in for a shock when war comes. And it's like, yes, Feyre, defend your sister. But then, anyways, there's some back and forth between like the queens, Feyre, Reese, all this going on. And Feyre really doesn't want Reese to show the queens Valaris. So Feyre says, and I quote, is my love for the High Lord not proof enough of our good intentions? Does my sister's presence here not speak to you? There is an iron engagement ring upon my sister's finger, yet she stands with us. And the queens are pretty much like, nope. In fact, the younger queen with golden hair is really laying it on thick. And she's like, we're not going to help. Like, you guys are idiots for all that. So Moore pulls out the orb and like shows them Valaris. And she shows it from like Rhys's point of view. And then Rhys is like talking because it's like him flying over Valaris. And so Rhys is explaining that this land has been kept hidden for so long. And as the queen sees Valaris, they are amazed. They're like, oh my God, this is amazing. Then the younger queen goes a little bit forward. She's like, oops, drop my handkerchief, and picks it up. Then the older queen is like, thanks for that. We'll consider this. We still don't know if we can trust you. And Moore and Rhys are like, we don't have time for you to consider this. And the older queen looks at Rhys and says, oh, we were not moved by your letter. And the letter says, and I'm quoting, I write to you not as a high lord, but as a male in love with a woman who was once human. I write to beg to you to act quickly, to save her people, to save my own. I write to you so that one day she might know the truth. She might know true peace. So that I might one day be able to live in a world where my woman can visit her family without fear. A better world. And the older queen is like, how do we know you're not manipulating us? How do we know this is the real Morgan? And then the younger queen is like, yes, how do we know that you're telling the truth? Because I think you're lying. And then Rhys is silent. But Nessa snaps and she's like, give them the damn book. You're not going to protect them. You're not going to protect us. So at least let them try. Give them the fucking book. And Cassian's like in the background, secretly getting hard, but he's not going to tell anyone. And then the queens are like, oh, we can try to do an evacuation. And Nessa snaps back and is like, I've redone the numbers. We would need an armada. Like, for all this, and you guys are all prepping for war, you're not going to send us any help. Don't even lie. And Rhys, still super quiet, just sitting there, quiet. And he's probably in his head saying, everyone shut the fuck up so the queens can leave. But he's just sitting there. And then Nessa breaks down and is like, please do not let us face this alone. And then Cassian, good old Cassian. He had to reorganize himself down there. But he comes up to Nessa, and I'm quoting for the book. He studied Nessa for a long moment. When she was still glaring at the queens, her eyes lined with tears of rage and despair, that fire that burned so violently from within her. When she finally noticed Cassian and she looked at him. And then Cassian says, and I'm quoting for the book, 500 years ago, I fought on the battlefield not far from this house. We're going to talk about that line in a little bit. I fought beside human and fairy alike, bled beside them, and I will stand on this battlefield again, Nessa, to protect this house, your people. I can think of no better way to end my existence, to defend those who need it most. And then a little tear goes down Nessa's cheek, and Cassian goes up and reaches and wipes the tear away, and she doesn't flinch at his touch. So, after my super dramaticness, question. Do we think this is the mating bond starting to form? And if it is, only Cassian will pick up on it because Nessa is still human. She wouldn't know what a mating bond is really. She wouldn't know how to feel it, explain it, because she's human. So what are your thoughts? Because Rhys said he felt the mating bond, like he knew once Feyre turned Fae, but he felt it before.
I think it's the horniness.
Fair?
I don't think
she's
he's
a stick of dynamite and he's attracted to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And they have so many good moments before Silver Flames too, but I don't know. I'd love to get a chapter 54 for Cassian, like we got a chapter 54 for Rhys, where he broke it all down to say, this is everything that happened. And when I started to feel I wouldn't know until Cassian was like, yeah, when you were crying because they were being absolute shit, that's when I was like, oh, I'm gonna be with her forever. You know what I'm saying? I would love that clarification.
I think it's the beginning of something, because if you're just gonna defend somebody, you don't do it so passionately. You don't vocalize it that passionately. He was quite passionate. I don't know that if you're just gonna protect somebody, you'd go that far.
Cassian, to be fair, Cassian would go that far because I think that's his character. But Jody, I do agree with you. Something is forming there. Again, I think he would pick up on it. She wouldn't pick up on it because she's human right now.
Yeah, Cassian's a little golden retriever,
Yeah, but he was so specific about her, not your people. Like he was like for you.
For you.
So it's kind of like
Yes.
that's a little romantical, I think.
I have to agree.
This is
Not for
romanticy.
you and your sisters, or what did you say?
I said this is romanticy.
Yeah,
At
fact.
its finest. No, I'm joking, but okay. So next question, really quickly before we go on. Cassian just said he was fighting on the battlefield not far from their house, with humans and fairies alike. Does this help our theory on who we think Mama A is? Mama Artron? That
Oh, I put that
the
together.
battlefield was 500 years ago, not far from their house. Like humans don't have a means to like travel very far in this time. Like fairies can, but we all know that they're at least human. So maybe the fairies stayed here after this battle and like
Like this.
yeah,
Yes. I like this a lot.
yeah,
I didn't even pick that up.
yeah. So I'm thinking this is just kind of going to her true Fae lineage because we all know or we all suspect that the three sisters have some form of Fae in them from a while back.
Yeah. I like
But
it.
yeah. So the queens pretty much have nothing else to say and they leave and they're just not going to help. And then they leave and Reese is just staring at the chair. And not only is he staring at the chair, he's staring at the chair that the younger queen was sitting in. And not only is he staring at the chair, but he's looking under the chair and there is a box. And it was hidden by the queen's skirt because she had a big skirt and she dropped the box when she dropped the handkerchief. And the book starts talking and it says, life and death and rebirth, sun and moon and dark, rot and bloom and bones. Hello, sweet thing. Hello, lady of the night, princess of decay. Hello, fanged beast and trembly fawn. Love me, touch me, sing me a song. Next question, really quickly before we continue. Is the book speaking to all three sisters? Because the moon could be Feyre, the
Yes.
bloom could be Elaine,
Yes.
the death is Nesta. And then it says, hello, lady of the night, that's Feyre. Princess of decay is Nesta because she's like, she gets that power of like death or whatever. Hello, Fang Beast. He says that. I'm guessing that's Reese. But then he goes, and Trembly Fawn, Elaine.
Ooh.
Do we
Yes.
think? I can't hear you, Andrea, because you're muted.
My bad. Yeah. No, wait. Say it again. Read it to me again.
So the whole thing or what I think?
Here it is. Life and death and rebirth, sun and moon and dark, rotten bloom bones, sweet thing, lady of night, princess of decay, fanged beast and trembling fawn. Hello, sweet thing. So they're love me, touch me, sing me. I don't
Pick
know.
me,
I don't
choose me.
I don't know. Yeah, I thought that too. Hello, sweet thing. Hello, lady of night, princess of decay. Fanged beast would be Feyre, and trembling fawn would be.
No, I think Lady of the Night is Feyre. Princess of Decay is Nesta. Fang Beast is either Elaine or Reese because we haven't gotten her story. But the most obvious, I would think, is
it
Trembling
might be
Fawn would be
Elaine.
Elaine.
Have we
And
known
later?
Reese to have fangs?
Who's in the room?
Or is that Tamlin? Isn't
More Cassian,
I'm getting
Azriel,
ahead. Never mind.
Yeah, you're a little ahead.
Amren's in
you
there,
are getting
right?
ahead.
Yeah.
No, Amren didn't go.
No, Amren didn't go.
No, more is there, no?
Yes, more is there.
Sorry, guys.
Lady of Night, Princess of Decay. All right, we're gonna come back to that. Let me mark that.
Yeah, I still
I
do
can't
think
tell.
so. And I'm gonna skip a little bit ahead only because we're talking about the book. Later on, the book kept repeating light and dark and gray. Light and dark and gray. And I'm thinking light, Feyre, dark, Elaine, and gray is Nesta. And I'm thinking so because of their ages. Like he's saying it in their age.
Oh.
Light, Feyre, the youngest. Dark, Elaine, because, we all think she's gonna be a villain. And then gray, Nesta, because we really
Gray, silver.
At that point, we didn't know which way she was going.
Yeah. And to Derek's point, gray is the closest to silver flames.
Yes, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So I don't know, but when I was like reading this, because I like was reading and listening, and I just like clicked. I was like, oh, wait, is this the three sisters that like we're talking about? So I like highlighted it in
And
my
I think
Kindle, and I was like, we're gonna have to
it's
come back
definitely
to
something
this.
to pay attention to because remember,
Yeah,
the cauldron only got 3 legs. I feel like 3
yeah.
is important. No.
Yeah.
Cauldron got
Mhm.
that third leg.
Mhm. Okay. Well, we're gonna keep that in the back. Maybe we'll get it in this next book. She opens the box to find a note from the younger queen, and she writes that she was moved by his letters not to trust the queens because the sixth queen is not six, and to cover her ass, she says if anyone asks, you stole the book during this meeting. Which, when I read that the first time, I immediately knew this queen was gonna die because I was like, the whole point of them doing all of these meetings with you and all this is that they can't take the book without you giving it to them. So like that's the dumbest lie that you could possibly say. Like you needed a better lie. So I was like, oh, she's not gonna live
Oh,
much
I see
longer. Like
what you're
the whole point of them
saying.
going through these meetings and doing all of this shit and getting the orb and telling them about Valaris is so that they could give them the book. But anyways,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
They had to have a viable thing. And so if they
Mhm.
stole it, oh Lord
It would have destroyed
Jesus.
itself. So she's like, if anyone asks, you stole it. You can't just steal
Yeah,
it. But
she set
she was
herself up
dumb.
for failure.
Yeah, she did. Hmm.
Dumbass.
So
She sacrificed herself for the better good.
she
Yeah,
did.
at least she probably didn't realize it at that time, but yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So as Reese leaves, he gives Nesta and Elaine a choice to come with them. And Elaine pretty much is like, I can't go. As she plays with her ring, and Nesta says, well, she's staying with Elaine. And Reese says he'll have sentinels stationed around the whole house to protect them. No one will see them or hear them. But if they change their mind, just to come into the room that they're in now every day at noon and midnight and speak out loud that they want to leave and that they will leave. And so my whole thing with Elaine is that she's not as dumb as everyone thinks she was. She loves her family. Like I believe very deep that she loves her family, but she was always she was always going to do what was in her best interest. And right now, marrying this Faye hating son of this dude is in her best interest because she gets to keep the life that she has, and she doesn't know the life that she's going to have at the night court. She like doesn't she's never seen it. You know, there's nothing to do, and so she doesn't care if it's like I feel like safety wise she should go. She's going to stay with the guy. And I think this just goes to prove my point back. Anyways, so they get back, they give the second book to Amarin, and she's like, I got to figure out how to stop the cauldron. Moore and Reese have to return because they have to return the orb and they have to visit the Court of Nightmares. And so while Moore, Reese are away, Cassian and Azriel like stay at the townhouse, and Feyre realizes that she doesn't like need them here, but they're staying there to protect her. And so her and Reese are like writing little letters back and forth. And she's like, how do I tell him to leave? And Reese is like, well, just set boundaries, but you have to understand that like these are your friends now and you're my mate. So they're always going to protect you, whether you want to or not. So like, they're not going to like protect you the way Tamlin did, but they're just going to like sit on the rooftop now, like, and watch the house. And then they start to flirt some more. They talk about visiting that little lingerie shop and, you know, doing things. But then, anyways, we have two high lords being on a real talk really quickly. One lord believed that, like, to protect meant to lock away. And the other high lord is believing that, like, you can still live your life with the protection still being there. So I think that's really good for Feyre to understand the difference. The next day, Cassian and Feyre have a little friend date, and they're like, visiting places all through Valaris, and Feyre talks to Cassian about Nessa, and Feyre thanks him for like what he said about protecting her family, and then goes on to say like Nessa's pretty much different. And Feyre says, and I quote, she will never be like Moore. She will never love freely or gift it to anyone she crosses paths with. But the few that she does care for, I think Nessa would shred the world apart for them, shred herself apart for them. She and I have our issues, but Elaine, she will never she will never forget, Cassian, that you offered to defend Elaine, defend her people. As long as she lives, she will remember that kindness. And Cassian is like, why are you telling me this? Done foreshadowing. And Feyre was just like, I thought you should know. And we get so many clues on Silver Flame, and we didn't even know that these were the clues. But then shit gets real. Feyre feels a change in the air. Cassian, dun dun dun, Cassian feels the change in the air. They feel like there's water, but the Sidra's not moving. But they're just like looking like what could be on. And so then Cassian turns on his siphons, however he does that.
Guys.
Yeah,
Here
he
it is.
activates. He activates them, and then they look to the sky, and they see winged creatures coming. And Cassian's like, Feyre, get the fuck back to the townhouse. Feyre's like, no, sound the alarm, get Amri and Azriel. And then he's like, Feyre, I'm not going to tell you again, get your ass back to the townhouse. Feyre's like, no, but while she's saying this, he is handing her 2 knives because he knows she's not going to go anywhere. Then the winged creatures reach the edge of the city, and they start to fire arrows. And it's so many arrows. They're firing arrows, and Cassian places a shield over Valaris to protect the city, but he is not strong enough. He is not going to be able to hold it for long. There's just too many of them, and then they start cracking holes through his shield, and then the winged creatures are coming through, and they throw something, and Cassian dives and protects Feyre. But when they look up, they realize it's the young queen with the golden hair. Her eyes are pulled out of her eye. Her eyes are pulled out. They're missing, and she's just been impaled by a pole, and she's just dead. And then she says, the regard from the queen. And Jurian, he is alive, everyone. They have brought him back. Feyre starts running towards the townhouse, but Cassian stays to fight. And now Hybern's troops they're everywhere. They're not just in the sky. They're in the streets. They're destroying houses. They're everywhere. And now she realizes that Azriel's also in the sky with Cassian. And then on the other side of the river, Amren's there doing boom, 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 boom. All of them are just dying because she's drowning them and whatnot. That is her power. I will say though, in my head when they were Amren was so powerful, in my head I thought she would do this, snap, and they would all die. I didn't realize she had to, in my head they hyped her up to be more powerful than what she actually is, and I was like, can't you just snap your fingers and they're all gone? You're so powerful.
She's literally shooting people out with finger guns, pow, 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 pow.
I think we have
you get to die. You get to die. You get to die.
Yeah, we got too much experience with other badasses that we just put her on that level. Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
Yeah, I feel like she should have parted the sea, kind of someone else, and then they just fell and died. In my head, she would just snap and it would. But anyways,
Did you just equate Amren to Moses?
Yep, she did. We're not gonna scoot on past that. That's exactly
I was. I did.
The sea.
I just thought she would be able to do that.
Illyrians go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She's not Illyrian though.
Yeah, but listen, isn't the whole thing that her powers are pretty restrained right now? So I mean, she can't just go out fucking killing 100,000 people at a time. Otherwise she's never gonna come to her power later if she's all powerful now.
You know what? I will give that to you. You are correct, Daddy.
For the plot.
For the plot. I forgot about that, but you're correct. So anyways, back to my dramaticness. Third, the troops are everywhere. They're destroying houses. Azriel and Cassian are in the sky. There's blood everywhere. Everything is being destroyed. The queens are responsible for this. They told Hybern. They should have never have shown them Valaris. Then Feyre here's a screen because she's trying to run to the townhouse because she's I'm gonna go run. Then she hears a screen. It's coming from the artist court, and those are her people. And then she sees some of Hybern's men, and then she's like, I've done this before, I can't do it again. And she turns to darkness, to shadow, and she slices their throat because she has ash arrows in her hand. And then she keeps running, and she finds a Fey woman, and there's just a little Fey woman with a pipe trying to protect all these other people in the house behind her. And she's getting surrounded by Hybern's men. And then Feyre's not today. And she uses the water from the Sidra and she makes wolves and they start attacking all of the troops. And then the ones that are flying, she gives them wings and then they take them down and she kills them all. And then she sees the adder trying to escape. And she is oh, no. And then Rhys is trying to use the bond. He's trying to find Feyre. And she's not today. Don't bother me, Rhys. I got this, And she puts up that mental shield and she's do not bother me.
Where are you? Where are you? And she's leave me alone, I'm fighting.
Exactly. So she sees the adder trying to escape and she's nope. And so she grabs, she gets 2 ash arrows, and she has them. And she whittles to the sky and then she lands on top of the adder and she grabs the ash arrow and she slices it on top of him. And then she's this is for Rhys. Stabs again. This is for Claire. Stabs again, and then she says with all her might, "This is for me," and stabs him.
Sorry, that's what I just heard. Keep going. Sorry.
Wait, what did you just
This is Sparta. That's
I
what
was
I
thinking the
heard.
same thing.
Sparta! Yes. And then they start to fall because now like the adder's like dying. But he's like still
Darn.
alive. And then he's like falling, and she's still on top of him and she's looking at him and then she says, "See you in hell, motherfucker." And then right when he smashes, she whittles away and he smashes to the ground. Dun, dun, dun,
That
dun.
scene
And then
was so badass. I was listening to it the other night with Jody in the room, and I was like, I forgot like how fucking badass Feyre is in this battle. Like
She's had some
we've been
unfortunate
shitting on
moments.
her. We've
Mhm.
been shitting on her a little bit, and like
A lot.
she, man, fucking badass. Like this reminds me of what I love about Throne of Glass. Like,
Yes.
you know,
I'll give that to you.
Yeah.
mhm.
I'll give that to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, yeah. Last episode when season was just cutting down, like I don't even remember for real. And then out of nowhere, Johnny goes, "Fucking stupid ass Feyre. Oh, she's so fucking no,
Remember, yes, you did say
couldn't
that.
stop
Yes.
laughing." But now I feel like she redeemed herself a little bit. Just a little bit.
She found her mate and now she trusts herself.
I don't know about that. She's still going through it, but yeah.
Yeah.
So now Feyre's wiped out and Rhys can finally find her because, you know, it's his city. He's just looking everywhere for her. And he grabs her into her arms and he's like, "Feyre, Cursebreaker, the defender of the rainbow." Yes! Now the wards are finally all up and they're secure again. The Court of Dreams is on the struggle bus, but they are all okay. They all use the magic to defend their city, but they like depleted their magic. So, you know, they need to sit and relax somewhere in a corner. And then Cassian says what they're all thinking. Valaris is secure, but for how long? And so they all know they have to go to Hybrid now and retaliate. But this means if they do that, then Amren has to stay behind to protect Valaris. And that night, Rhys is like on the roof thinking about the city because he's just like mad at himself. So that's where he goes to like be sad, is on top of the roof. And so Feyre joins him and tells him that like, you know, it's not his fault that this happened. Like, so he shouldn't blame himself. And Rhys is like, he's so proud of her and so impressed with her that she was able to block him out that much, and that he's so proud of her that she fought for his city and like she's amazing. And then they fuck on the roof, and then the next day Amren has figured out how to stop the cauldron. Pretty much you touch the cauldron and you say the magic words, because that's pretty much what it all comes down to. And it is very important to note that the two bookends need to stay separate. They cannot be connected because, and I'm quoting, the blast of power will be felt in every corner and hole in the earth, and it won't just attract the king of Hybrid. It will draw enemies far older and more wretched, things that have been asleep and should remain so. So Feyre, don't put the fucking book pieces together. And so a plan is set. Moore and Azriel will whittle Feyre into the castle, into Hybrid's castle. Rhys cannot go because he is being tracked, and so he is going to whittle somewhere else so that all the troops go to wherever he's whittling. And when they find the cauldron, Feyre's going to speak the words, and then they're going to get the fuck out of Dodge. And then, but this means Rhys is sending his mate into enemy territory without him. He's not thrilled about this, but he gives Feyre the choice, and Feyre says, "Let's do this." So now everyone's getting ready. Feyre doesn't know what room she should head to because Rhys has his room, she has her room, and Tamlin always kept his room, which I always thought was a little bit sketch. But then Rhys says, "Doesn't matter which room you pick, we'll be together. So just let me know where I'm moving my shit." And she was like, "Well, your bed's bigger." So she, you know, is in Rhys's room, and then Rhys hands her the box. She opens it, and it's his mother's ring. And Rhys is like, "This is a family heirloom, and my mom gave it to me, but then when I reached the age of like maturity, she like took it away and gave it to the weaver." And I'm quoting from the book now, and says, "She told me that if I were to ever marry or mate, then the female would either have to be smart or strong enough to get it back. And if this female wasn't either of those things, then she wouldn't survive the marriage. And I promised my mother that any potential bride or mate would have the test." And so it sat with the weaver for centuries. And Feyre's like, "Oh, thanks. You made me go get my own engagement ring. You're such a catch." But then Feyre's like, "Okay, after we nullify the cauldron, she'll wear it because she doesn't want anyone to see it, because if anyone sees it on her hand, they can use that against him. And she doesn't want that. So now it's time to leave. Feyre has each half of the book into 2 separate pockets, and I don't know where the fuck they're fitting because we already established these books do not fit in a female's pocket. But not only does she have one, she got both of them. And so now they reach the castle. They like whittle to the castle. Azriel Spies has done some recon, so they know, ways to get in, through, and around the castle. But it doesn't matter because once Feyre steps in, she feels the cauldron. Also, let's note that Feyre has on some gloves. And so now she can feel the cauldron calling to her. And not only that, the books are calling. They're like, take me home, take me home, take me home. And then, of course, the cauldron's like in the basement because where else would it be in the castle? And then they walk into like the basement and it's in the center of the room sitting a little dais. End of the chapters. Dun, dun, dun. How do y'all feel about that?
I just needed to mention something really quick. When I popped up and grabbed my Tower of Dawn book, when we look at right after they get to Highburn, Feyre says no lights burned on it, but it felt old, as if it were a spider that had been waiting in its web for a long, long time. And from Throne of Glass, we know the Stygian spiders and the Karen Quee were super pivotal and the whole shebang. And so I just wanted to point that out. Because I don't think, Season,
spiders with
yet.
the super strong web.
With the spider silk, yes.
Yeah, the spider silk.
You met the Stygian spiders. Where are you at in Tower of Dawn at this point?
I think I'm still where I am because I really haven't read because I've been reading some other books. But I'm at the part where, again, terrible with names, but I can describe them. Chaol is like, a little, he's getting fixed right now. And so the queen, who's the king or whoever's in charge of the guard, is it Irene, the other girl? Not the healer, the other girl that he's like with that's like in charge of like the Nezrin. She's like leaving him to like go with like the prince or whatever to like figure some shit out.
Yes.
Yep, that's where I am.
They are
terrible with names, but can describe them all.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Then I won't spoiler you, but just know the spiders are important. That's it.
Anything else, Jody? You said you have some interesting theories on Elaine.
Not really. I mean, we talked about it when we were talking about the book.
Derek, do you have anything? Any specialness?
I mean, specialness from Special Town. I'm really starting to enjoy some of the more less like internal conflict of Feyre and more of the like woman of action Feyre. Like the writing of those scenes was really good. It wasn't just like, oh, this is a cool scene, but like, I am death, I am night, I'm gonna fuck these bitches up. You know what I mean? Like, it was fucking good. And when she kills the Ador, I forgot how badass she was, wrapping around him and becoming fire and just plummeting. And then at the last fucking second, just winnowing out and he just fucking splat. You know what I mean? Like, that was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really,
I will
really
say these scenes make me excited. Like, because like this was originally in like development to be a show or movie, and then it wasn't, and then it was, and then it wasn't. And I think right now it's not anymore. But like these scenes get me excited because I'm like, there's so much potential. Like, yes, cannot wait. Okay, now for our sassy topic. So I feel like in these chapters there was so much like choice given to Feyre, and so how does the narrative uses Feyre's choice to like explore like her right for that, for like full on autonomy? And I mentioned like 10 of them while we were talking or through this.
I think I might be having a moment because I don't understand them.
Yeah, what? Say it again.
How does the narrative use Feyre, or like how does the story, so let me not say narrative, but like how does the writing like use Feyre's choices to explore autonomy?
Specifically with that whole baby thing, when she was like, I want to live our life together. Like, babies are cool, but like, I'm not trying to share you with nobody else just yet. And I felt that deeply in my soul. Like,
don't tell me
she's
how
right.
you really feel, but yeah.
She already's got to share him with all them other adults that can talk and form sentences, and then she's gonna give up all of that just for it to just be her. Anyways, that part, when she showed up and she made more take her to the cabin. And then she was like, see ya. I need some time to process this.
I agree. Those are all great examples. I think they were important because they also help her become like stronger in who she is. We have Reese giving her the choice to be like, I don't want you to go, but I'm never going to take away your choice of going. And if you want to go to Hybern, then I'm going to let you go to Hybern. Like these last like 10 chapters, I feel like she was given choice after choice after choice. And it, I think, only helps her grow as like an individual. But if we were to bring that to the real world, it's just like really important that if people who are in an abusive relationship or anything, like it's even like these are little things that we wouldn't even probably consider big. Like her even being like, I don't want kids
Yeah.
right now. Or Reese even saying, you pick the room, but we're staying together. Like, like she's literally giving choice after choice after choice. And like,
He's giving her that choice and
mhm.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
like,
she's getting to experience him giving choices to other people too. Like when
good
when
point.
Elaine's like, I don't want to go. And he's like, okay, cool. When you're ready, the option's available. This is what you have to do if you choose to do that.
Mm-hmm. You're good. I actually didn't even think of that. So that's actually a great way. Yeah, she gives everyone around choices. So point is, we've learned Tamlin is not the best person. He just needs to sit in therapy for a little while. He didn't do
Yeah,
things
yeah,
right.
because I mean they figure out that they're mates and he's like, we don't have to get married right away. Like, like fucking Tamlin was like, we need to get married immediately
Yeah.
to show
He,
our village the front or whatever. Like, no, that you don't have to do that.
yeah. He gave her the choice for marriage. Like, do you want to wear the ring? Do you not want to wear the ring? Like, literally, this whole last few chapters, all Feyre got was choice after choice after choice after choice to make. So I think it is important. Uh and that's all I got for you guys. So yay.
I'm super
It
excited
was
for
a
the end of this. Super excited.
Yes. Same, because then we're gonna get Nessa coming out like the ring. Mind you, I never saw the ring because I don't do scary. We established that last time. But she's gonna be crawling out like the ring and I'm coming for you. And that's how it's gonna go. Yeah. But anyways, thank you everyone. Bye.
bye.